You know that feeling, right? You're trying to learn something new, maybe a language, an instrument, or some new code, and you just feel stuck. You're putting in the hours, but you're not getting anywhere, and you can feel that burnout creeping in. Well, what if the problem isn't how hard you're working, but how you're working? We're going to break down the science of how to learn way more effectively, faster, and without that soul-crushing grind.
It always starts with this question, doesn't it? It's the first thing we all want to know. And the answer we usually get? Well, it's usually just plain wrong. We've been told forever that to get good, you just have to put in more and more time. But is that really how it works?
And this slide right here nails the big misunderstanding. On one side, you've got that whole hustle culture idea. Just grind for 10, 12 hours a day and you'll make it. But the actual science tells a totally different story. The quality and the structure of your learning hours, that's what really matters. It's not even close.
So first things first, we have to completely bust this hours myth. We're going to take apart this idea that chaining yourself to a desk is the best way to learn. It's time to stop fighting against your brain and start working with it.
And to do that, we need to talk about a hard and fast biological limit. Our brains are incredible, but they are not infinite. They have a very real, very clear capacity for a certain kind of work. So let's get into the science of what real focus actually is. The key concept here is what we call deep focused learning. Now, this isn't about kind of sort of reading a book or having a tutorial on in the background. No, this is that in-the-zone feeling, that state of pure concentration where your brain is making powerful connections and locking in memories. This is the gold standard.
So, how much of this gold standard, deep learning, can we actually handle in a day? The answer might honestly shock you. It's just 2 to 4 hours. That's it. For any single skill, that's your brain's absolute peak performance window for the day.
And this is exactly what happens when you try to push past that limit. You just hit a wall. Your focus completely falls apart, you start making silly mistakes, and your brain just stops being good at turning what you're doing into long-term memory. Pushing harder literally makes you learn less.
Okay, so if brute force is out, what's the answer? It's all about rhythm and structure. It's about finding a simple, repeatable pattern that works with your brain's limits, not against them.
And here is that pattern. Think of it like interval training for your mind. You go all in for a focused sprint of about 40 to 60 minutes. Then, and this is key, you take a real break for 10 to 20 minutes. And you just repeat that cycle. This lets you get the absolute most out of that 2 to 4 hour peak window.
And let me be super clear about this. The break is not optional. It is not wasted time. It is an absolutely essential part of the learning process. That's when your brain gets to rest, recharge, and, most importantly, save everything you just learned into long-term memory. And the beautiful thing about this is you can make it work for you. If an hour-long session feels like too much, no problem. Try a shorter rhythm, 20 minutes of intense focus, followed by a 10-minute break. That can be just as powerful. The pattern is what matters. Okay, so you're probably thinking, but what if I want to learn all day? Well, you can, and this next strategy is a total game changer, especially if you're trying to learn more than one thing at a time.
The secret is to rotate your skills. Instead of just hammering away at one thing for hours and hours, you switch to something different. And why does this work? Well, think of it like going to the gym. You wouldn't do bicep curls for 8 hours straight, right? Different skills use different parts of your brain. By switching, you're letting one part rest while you activate another. So here's what a really smart day of learning could look like. You might start your morning with something analytical, like coding. Then, after a break, you switch to something creative, like drawing. In the afternoon, maybe you do something physical, like a sport, and you could finish the day with a comprehension task, like reading. Every session feels fresh, no burnout. So, how many different things can you really tackle in one day with this method? The research points to about 3 or 4 different skills. As long as you follow the rules, focus in blocks, take your breaks, and switch between them, you can make real, solid progress on all of them.
All right, let's bring this all home. We've talked about your brain's focus limit, the power of work-rest cycles, and the magic of skill rotation. Now let's combine all of it into the ultimate routine for learning fast and staying sharp.
And if you really want to level this up, you can add in some of these powerful brain boosters. A few minutes of meditation, or even just some simple breathing exercises during your breaks can completely reset your focus. And honestly, science has shown again and again that a quick nap is one of the best things you can do to boost your memory.
And here it is, the whole system laid out in a super simple checklist. Your focus work session, 40 to 60 minutes. Your non-negotiable break, 10 to 20 minutes.
You structure your day by switching skills after each session. You can enhance those breaks with a little meditation, and if you can squeeze it in, you super boost the entire process with a short nap. This is your new playbook.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to this one powerful idea. Stop counting the hours you spend in a chair. Start paying attention to how smart your learning pattern is. That shift in thinking is what unlocks everything.
So let's boil all of this down into your new simple mantra. It's just 3 words. First, focus. Work in short, intense bursts. Second, rest. Treat your breaks like they're just as important as the work. And third, switch. Rotate what you're learning to keep your brain fresh all day long.
Look, this isn't just some nice theory. This is a practical, science-backed blueprint for actually getting good at things. The old way, the grind, is a myth. A smart pattern is reality. So the only question left is, now that you had the blueprint, what are you going to master next?